you to Todd Cirillo also for being here tonight. Let's hear it for Todd. Todd's up there. It's always such a great performance. I'm so excited. Todd Cirillo was born of bastard lineage. He has many books and misdemeanors. His sixth and so many misdemeanors. His sixth and most recent collection is Disposable Darlings from Roadside Press. He is editor and co-founder of Six Foot Swells Press. Todd lives in New Orleans, where he seeks out shiny moments and strange wisdom while looking pretty.
Yeah.
He can be found at www.toddcirillo.com. He can also be found on the stage right now.
Yeah.
I shall put that on the pulpit.
Yeah. Sacrament.
Yeah. Jesus loves a good cold one. First off, give you all a round of applause for showing up on a Sunday evening after a terrible loss. What? That's what happens. Okay, so here we go. The invitation. She walked into the bar. I offered her my seat. She turned me down. I like to get that part out of the way first. Takes a minute. I should have just gotten you a card. In the weeks leading up to her birthday, I paid close attention, stealthily inquired, wrote down ideas of what she may want. Eventually, I made surprise plans, fun Amazon orders, and set up a big bright bouquet to be delivered the day of. The night before her birthday, she called and told me she had found someone new, and that is what she wanted. The one thing I hadn't thought of. No, come on. No, thank you. Yeah. All right, so who are the poets that we have in the audience tonight? I mean, I know there's fucking more than just those. You know what? Look how many of you sheepishly, half raised your hand. Like, look. Just say that you are, and be done with it. This is for you. Our best shot. He said, it's hard to be a good poet when you're a millionaire. And I righteously agree. We sipped our drinks silently for the next few minutes, both knowing we would love to give it our best shot. A subtle motivation. She owns a .357 Magnum. Tells me often she is a very good shot. I have yet to forget a birthday or special occasion. A New Orleans compliment. I was trying to be clever, while she was simply being thoughtful. She said she describes me to her friends as kind and genuinely happy. Something about that didn't quite cover it for me, so I smiled confidently and said, don't forget ruggedly handsome. She laughed, touched my cheek, and reminded me, I've seen you full of glitter, in rainbow tutus, red spaghetti strap dresses wrapped in feather boas, always with a huge smile on a disturbingly regular basis. You see how that could be difficult to describe you that way. And I smiled again, feeling oh so pretty. Oh, this just happened last weekend. This Marty, where are you at? There you are. Give it up for Marty Tidwell. The deaf and dumb. Have you noticed this trend of people in restaurants talking on speakerphone or watching videos at full volume? I used to wonder if they were hard of hearing or suffer such short-term memory loss, forgetting they put the phone on speaker. But the more I encounter it, I realize they are simply rude assholes who most likely cut lines, take up 2 parking spaces, never put the grocery cart back where it belongs, and never, ever tip. Yeah, make sure you tip your bartenders here. Don't be them. Nobody is. Okay? Have a sip. So we can get through this.
Not me, that was on.
Oh no, Marty was not on. It was just some random dude who was just in PJs.
They're out there. They're out there.
Yeah. Who's fans of documentaries? All right?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, here, this is for you. Really, it's for me, but it's for you. Plate tectonics. I watched a documentary on YouTube and learned that approximately 100 to 300 million years ago, there was one single supercontinent called Pangaea, with one vast ocean that covered 2/3 of the entire planet. Side note, I once dated a girl named Gia. It was not super. The world shifted and the continent split. Pieces floated away in opposite directions. Some eventually came back together after millions of years in between to form new continents and land masses that held together. Others turned into mountains that became single islands in the new seas. You and I are like that. And I am still a single island floating here, waiting patiently for another million years or so.
Yeah.
See, it's not all booze and broken hearts. Yes. This is my next one, drinking in New Orleans. Some nights, luck rides shotgun. I slip through the old doors a little after 5:30, find a corner bar stool, no one notices. College football is on 4 large TVs. 3 women with pints of beer and empty shot glasses in front of them hold tiny, misshapen dogs, talking, drinking, with the odd dogs panting in their laps. Almost all the bar stools are taken. It has been 3 months since I've been in here. The new bartender doesn't recognize me, and it takes a while for her to notice me. She has a tattoo of a honeybee. The place looks much the same since when I was last here, except for the bartender. With an extra shot of innocence and cordiality, I order my usual, which she doesn't know is my usual. I relax ever so slightly and whisper to myself. Luckily, it seems they don't put pictures on the 86th list. I get my drink in a go-cup just in case. Any quarter rats here besides me?
I mean, well.
All right,
Yeah.
All right, this is for all of
To
us.
the proud.
The French Quarter. Nothing compares to morning in the French Quarter after a solid rain. Puddles pool across slate sidewalks, darkening them, reflecting all the colors of Creole cottages and hurricane shutters, yellows, greens, oranges, that burst like new suns everywhere. The leaves on the magnolias shine as if just born. Front stoops are clean. Flags from Jazz Fest wave in the tropical breeze. The streets are clear, and the many birds who also make the quarter their home too sing their own version of Tipitina. It all gives a feeling of a rebirth, or at the very least an absolution of sorts. At these times, there's a quiet in the quarter, which falls like glitter from a balcony. The only movement comes from the few clear-headed and employed who prepare it all for the exquisite puking and falling down chaos of later when hand grenades and lost inhibitions reign. By 11 a.m., bands by the French Market begin to beckon tourists, shop doors open for business, service industry workers get in the last smoke before the demands of a lunch crowd. More and more people fill the streets, the courtyards, Jackson Square, the levee, with drinks in hand, ready to start their best day, and the Mississippi River pays it all no mind. Deprivation. I fight sleep to avoid waking up to one more day without you. One of my closest friends asked me to read this today, so I shall. If you catch him at Mardi Gras, you will have one of those Mardi Gras memories or not. Oh, he is the greatest. True legend for Kerry Floyd. He is up in Alaska cooking on a fishing boat that never leaves the dock. It is his 10,000 short-term job and a decade stacked up with short-term jobs. They get fewer and far between as his smoking, drinking, and isolation grows deeper. We always text back and forth, yet I always worry about him. He spends most days alone, though he has survived more than most ever could imagine. He's always broke, but never broke down. Those who know him tell stories at parties and pool tables, like the time he drank 7 hand grenades on Bourbon Street, or when he left the party at 11 p.m. and came back at 4 in the morning with someone else's clothes on. His word-for-word knowledge of biblical verse, or the moment he announced at the stuffy uptown party, if I knew it was this type of party, I'd have stuck my dick in the mashed potatoes. I miss him, and I wonder if he ever feels disheartened. I ask, how's it going up there? He responds, pretty good, kind of sad. The old captain's wife passed away. Salmon are all dead this year. Lots of sitting around making sure no one steals my stuff. But I learned how to make homemade locks today. Some legends are just that not well known. Another one for a friend of mine. Love Kamikaze for the poet Will Staple, way out in California. This is a true story. Happened exactly as I wrote it. Or as I wanted it to be written. Love Kamikaze. Before stepping onto the stage, he asked me to monitor his time and his girlfriend, who had a tendency towards extreme violence and severe jealousy. He opened with a poem dedicated to a girl, a human, tender, heartfelt love poem. He then read another poem dedicated to another girl, and another, each that came with a different dedication to a different girl, none of whom were in the audience that night. The woman began to tense up and tear at the program with his name upon it. I was dumbfounded and in awe of his raw guts and insane genius. Maybe this was his own personal trip down memory lane, his own cleansing ritual, or even better, a full-blown, balls-out kamikaze run at love, smashing into everything she had ever screamed at him. He continued on, and the poems got better and more explicit. The women had sexier names, and he began to glow, and her fire began to rage and consume. She finally leaned over to me and demanded, "Isn't his goddamn time up yet?" With a smile, I replied, "Not even close." Couple more. Souvenirs. Nowadays, all those loves, those real attempts sit like souvenirs on a high shelf, with memories and moments piled up around them, taking up space. I take them down and dust them off every once in a while and hold them tightly, letting the big feelings wash over me like a rainstorm, trying to get back to those places. But souvenirs are just things we hold on to from places and people that fade away in time. And besides, who wants to be surrounded by reminders of all the pretty places that we will never return to? All right, back to the fun stuff. Another true story. This was at Garden District Pub. Anyone have been there?
Hey.
All right, Garden District Pub. Here you go. The Imposter. The bartender with 1950s dress and the martini glass tattoo, complete with olive on her right forearm, was changing on a keg when, without looking, she says, "Hey, Allison, did you?" At that moment, she looked up. "Oh, you're not Allison." I replied, "No, I haven't been Allison in quite a while." She laughed and dropped the bottle opener in her hand. When the actual Allison showed back up, the bartender said, "Allison, I had something to say to you, but I forgot." I laughed, but Allison didn't get it and walked away again. Later, when the bartender brought me another drink, she said, "You look familiar." I replied, "Yes, we met a bit ago when I was Allison." She laughed again and bought me a drink. I laughed too, lifted the glass and toasted my natural girlish charm.
You're so pretty, Todd.
Thank you. Okay, everyone know that it's an election year?
What?
Yeah, oh, God. There we go. I'm known for my political poetry, and this is one of them, so please pay attention. Alpha Male 2024. A group of 12 bros just off the swamp tour come out of the bar, yelling and backslapping. They stand in the sun by the bayou, all tough, high-fiving, talking about bitches and how they're gonna tear Bourbon Street up, dog. The toughest of them shout at the gator in the water about how they could take that motherfucker. The gator is far out of reach and unimpressed, while the others laugh and punch each other in their barbed wire tattooed arms, wearing "Freedom Isn't Free" t-shirts and MAGA hats while sipping their passion fruit high noon. Last one. Love crazy. All right, who's in love out there?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Who has just ended love out there? All right. Good for you. Good for you for claiming that.
Yeah.
Who's crazy about love?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God, come on.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best, one way or another. Love crazy. I have accepted the fact that I only fall in love with insane and unstable women. Smoke rising from my house, cut my brake lines, total my truck while smiling type of insanity. Some can hide it for days, even months, like a sniper waiting for the perfect kill shot. Others don't even make it home before my tires are slashed, my face is busted open, and we are on the side of the road with her screaming how it's my fault because I didn't read her mind to know she really did want dessert, even though she said no 3 times. I am a true sucker for beauty, never believing that crazy can be wrapped in such a gorgeous package. That is why I bought me a police scanner. My heart races whenever there's a 5150 call or a possible jumper on a bridge, suspect off her medication, the domestic disturbance. That's when I go out looking for love, because I know when I find her, there will be at least 72 hours with no sharp objects, no access to flammables, only pure, heavily guarded, well-sedated love. And isn't the beginning the best part anyway?
Yeah.